Comics have been read. Action figures assembled. Video games have been played. A battle decades in the making. Two nerds enter the arena to do battle. Two nerds leave the arena more nerdy than ever. It's time for a nerd deathmatch.
Have Lee Bokma back from The Art of Lee Bokma to do another nerd deathmatch.
That's right. Thanks again for having me on. It's always a great fun when we get together to do these.
Oh yeah, it's a blast. I love it.
Yep.
Real quick though, why don't you introduce yourself to the listener for the first person, or for the people that haven't heard these before or heard us talk before?
Sure. So I'm Lee Bokma, not to be confused with Lee Searcy, your charming host. But I'm an artist, generally do comics, sci-fi, fantasy style art. I'm a big fan of the Covert Nerd Show, and it's always a great time to be on these and get our nerd deathmatch on.
Definitely. We love these nerd death matches. You can find Lee at Art of Lee Bokma on Facebook. Definitely hit him up for some artwork. He does excellent work. Doing a episode themed in the Star Wars universe, because by the time you hear this, the movie will be coming out soon, the last of the trilogy. We'll see if they can redeem themselves, but I don't know.
They've got some work to do.
They've got some work to do. But anyway.
That's a whole other episode.
Yeah, we could, maybe, okay, after it comes out, we can maybe have another death match and burn all of our figures and books or something. I don't know. Depends on how it goes.
Yeah.
Or go buy a bunch more. Anyway, it's a Star Wars theme, so we pitted 3 Star Wars characters and then pit them against other characters that we thought were somewhat equally balanced in other universes and see who could win that type of battle.
Yeah.
So that's the premise of this episode. So I'll start first. And I chose for my first pick, I went with the Star Wars side of it.
You're on the side of the Force.
Yes.
And I'm the non-Star Wars.
Yes. The non-Star Wars.
Yeah. And I think our first category is vehicles. Is what
we're going to do vehicles first. And my first pick is the Millennium Falcon. It is, obviously, if you're a nerd, you know that this is from the Star Wars universe. Han Solo's ship, the Millennium Falcon.
Well, not always his ship.
Good point. Lando would have words to say about that he cheated. Okay, good point. But it is a Corellian-class ship, and you hear Han talk about how fast it is. He did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. Which I found out, I didn't know this, but a parsec is a distance measure, not a time measure. I thought it was a time measurement, but it's actually a distance.
Yeah, the writers who put that in the original Star Wars obviously had no idea what they were talking about when they said that he did it in 12 parsecs. It's like saying I ran the mile in 12 meters. It's like, what? That makes no sense.
Yeah. So I guess the way when I was researching it, it's the Kessel Run's usually done in 18 parsecs, and the Kessel Run goes by a black hole. And so Han found a way to navigate the Kessel Run by getting closer to the black hole, which cut the time down, or the distance down.
This was from the Solo movie, right?
This is from the expanded universe, and I don't know if it was before Disney or after Disney, but that's where I found it.
Because I know they addressed it in the Solo movie.
Yeah, they did.
He made the Kessel Run in that movie.
Yes, he did.
Actually, one of my favorite parts of that movie, and they kind of addressed that faux pas from a previous and explained the parsec.
Yep. So that's I didn't realize that it was but that's how he cut the time down, was by getting closer to the black hole.
Or cut the distance down.
Not the time. Not the time. The distance, which I assume if you cut the distance down, you cut the time down. I would assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole hyperspace quagmire, or how to understand all that. But I guess basically hyperspace, from what I understand, is you're actually going faster than the speed of light, which you cut through the fabric of space and time. That's why when they're traveling, they have this kind of fog cloud effect, spinning effect, as you're going through space and time, and you can see shadows of the quote unquote, air quote, real universe. And so the computers have to navigate and figure out how close you are to the real universe compared to the hyperspace universe. It's really heady when I was reading it. And I'm like, I'm not even going to really try to attempt it much, but that's kind of what it is. You're ripping the fabric of space and time.
Yeah.
That's what they're traveling.
Anything beyond Newtonian physics, it just baffles my mind. But it makes the quote interesting that he did it in 12 parsecs, because it's not a testament to how fast the ship was, but it's more a testament to like the daring pilot who did it, because he flew it in a way that allowed him to bend space, basically, which has nothing to do with how fast the Millennium Falcon flies.
No, it has more to do with the captain than the ship.
Right.
That's what he's kind of saying. So
remember that when we do the death match at the end.
Yes.
The Millennium Falcon can do it in 12 parsecs.
It also talks about, he says he can do 0.5 past light speed, and other nerds like us have really deep dived into it and figured out how long or how fast the Millennium Falcon actually is. So they measured how long it would take to go from Tatooine to, where Alderaan was in the first movie. And they calculated it'd take about 14 hours. So the Falcon's top speed is 25,000 light years per day, or 1,041.66 light years per hour.
Okay.
That's how they calculated this.
That's moving.
I'm not sure how they figure. I do kind of know they took a star map, I guess, from the expanded universe and figured out, if it's this distance on the map, this is how long it would be. And
they just basically swagged how long the Millennium Falcon was flying in episode 4.
Estimating how long they were in the ship is how they calculated it. But so that's the speed. And I'll have a link in the show notes on the site that came up with that. So nerds way smarter than me were able to figure this out. I mean, obviously this is a fictional vehicle, but still, it's kind of fun. It's a Corellian freighter that was really popular, made by the Corellian Engineering Corp, and we all know that Han Solo came from Corellia. He was orphaned there, and that's where he got started. The smugglers liked it because the type of freighter was easily interchangeable, so they could take things out, add things in, and add to the engines. Han had added to the engines. He added to the shielding. And I think, it was just the shielding and the engines were the two things he modified. He didn't modify the weapons.
Okay.
But he did modify the engines to make it go faster, the 0.5 past light speed. And then he modified the shields. He also modified, smugglers liked it too, because he could hide stuff in the ship.
And I think his modifications kind of came with, it was a double-edged sword, because a large portion of Empire, like the Falcon, was not working. It was probably because of his ad hoc modifications, screwing stuff up.
Yes, you're exactly right. He was always breaking, and Chewie was always yelling, and then we're like, I feel like Chewie some days with your car or something, just pounding on it, and Han would punch the top of it and turn it back on again.
When in doubt, punch stuff, right?
Exactly.
Ultimate fix-all, that and duct tape.
But they used them, I guess, primarily as tugboats for giant container ships too. That's what they use the Millennium Falcon, or those type of ships for, is tugboats.
That's interesting, because tugboats, you normally don't associate that with sort of a speedy, maneuverable craft, but obviously the Millennium Falcon is very maneuverable.
Very maneuverable. Fast. Yeah, it can fit through tight spaces, even the Death Star, and Lando knocked the shield off. But speaking of weapons, though, it does have weapons. It has 2 quad laser cannons. I mean, how many of us, when we were kids, sat and pretended we were Luke Skywalker shooting TIE fighters?
Yeah.
That's those quad cannons that he was on.
Right in the middle of the ship, and they could see each other down that vertical shaft.
Yep, so you got one at the top, one at the bottom.
Yeah, that's very reminiscent of World War II bombers. With their bubble turrets on top and bottom and side gunners, where they could all see each other. That's what I loved about it, that they pulled from that historical context, and it was pretty cool.
They must have, because that was how they ran them. But evidently, you could run them without somebody in it, because wasn't it in Return of the Jedi? They were shooting other ships with it, or maybe it was Empire. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's something I never understood, because that one scene in Star Wars in New Hope is the only one you see where they actually go down and the gun turns when they're being chased. But every other time they're being chased, no one ever mans those guns.
Yeah, those are a droid in there, or maybe you can. I assume maybe you can run them remotely.
Right.
From the front deck, I guess. I don't know.
But then why did they go and... I don't know. There's all sorts of plot holes.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, anyway, he's got 4 turrets. Yeah. Quad lasers. This is something I didn't know. 2 concussion missile tubes, which fit kind of in the forward mandibles. So those two kind of teeth. There's missile tubes there, that have 4 missiles, so 2 each, I believe is how
he never shot them.
Never shot them
in the movies that I recall.
No, I think this is from the expanded universe.
Oh, okay.
I have the little die cut, and it'll be in the show notes where it has
which is no longer
out.
canon, right? Like
it's Legends.
It's Legends now,
it's
not
Legends
canon.
now. Yeah, not canon.
These are just myths you speak of.
Exactly.
Folklore. Let's stick to the facts in this deathmatch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just the facts only, man. And then the ground buzzer, the blaster that came down on Hoth when they were
when the ship wasn't working.
Yes, when the ship wasn't working again.
Notice how many times I'm pointing out the Falcon's not
working. I think
working.
there must be a reason for that. So he's got the little cannon that shoots all the Imperial troopers that come out. So he's got the quad cannons, the missile turrets, and then that little ground buzzer, they call it, as far as the weapons go.
Right.
So that's basically the Millennium Falcon. Doesn't really, age-wise, I'm guessing. Let's see. I think I read that they started manufacturing these about 10 to 15, I think it was 20 years before the Battle of Yavin, I think is when they started manufacturing these. And then up until, I think, 4 or 5 years after the Empire took over. So about 25 years, manufactured these things, really popular, I guess. They sold a lot of them in the fictional universe.
One of the things I'd like to reflect on, the Millennium Falcon is such a paradox, because when you think of cool spaceships that I loved as a kid, they all had this cool rocket sleek, bird of prey kind of awesome look. And then there's the Millennium Falcon, which is like a frisbee with two prongs that stick out the front in this weird side cockpit. But yet, even though it looks so weird and dorky, I love that shit.
Yeah, I know.
It's just something cool about it, even though it looks like crap.
Yes, yes, and they really definitely tell in Empire that they emphasize that it just doesn't run well.
Right. They gave it a lot of character. It was a very flawed character, which makes it interesting.
Yeah,
and
brought out Han Solo's character as well, and Chewie and everybody.
Yeah,
they're trying to get this thing to up and running, and it navigated through the asteroid belt, which is something that they commented on as you just don't do that,
right? But it was such a cool ship, even though it looked like
junk.
It looked like junk, but you look at an X-wing, that looks cool, and Star Destroyers look cool, but that thing, it looks like crap. But I love that ship. It's something about it.
It could do anything. I remember on Empire, he magnetically stuck himself to the back of a Star Destroyer.
Oh yeah, that's right, and waited for the junk to be thrown out.
Yeah, we'll float out with the rest of the junk, which again just alludes to the fact that it's junk.
Exactly.
So that's all I have. So what is your pick?
So trying to keep up with a ship that's junk and is a little, it's kind of an underwhelming ragtag ship. I searched the non-Star Wars universe, and I decided to go with Serenity from the Firefly TV series and movie. I think they're, personality-wise, I think they're very close ships.
Yeah.
They belong to men who are kind of anti-hero, dodgy kind of guys. Mm-hmm. They're both kind of piles of junk that have seen the better days, maybe being repurposed for something they weren't initially made for.
Yep.
So that's why I decided to go with Serenity.
All right.
So Serenity, like I said, it's from the TV show Firefly and the subsequent movie named Serenity. So the name of the ship is actually Serenity. It's a Firefly class ship. I'm going to get that word right there. And it's originally designed by the director of that series, Joss Whedon. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he did some Marvel stuff.
Didn't he do? Well, he did the Justice League movie, I think.
Was it just I thought he did it?
Maybe. I can't remember.
I thought it was some of the early Avengers stuff.
Maybe it was.
Maybe I'm off.
I could be off.
Anyway, viewers, let us know how jacked up we are.
Yeah, how bad did we screw that one up? Anyway,
it's a Firefly class transport ship, and it was owned by one Malcolm Reynolds.
Yep.
And he named it Serenity from the Battle of the Serenity Valley in a war that happened right before the Firefly series kicks off. He's a soldier that ended up on the wrong side of the war, and it was a very traumatic battle for him, the Serenity Valley battle. And so he named the ship Serenity after that. Malcolm puts together a ragtag crew, and they're kind of living on the edge of the universe. I'm summing up the show, basically, and they're kind of on the run from the powers that won the war. They live by smuggling or taking odd jobs or doing whatever they can to kind of scrape by, living on the outskirts of
kind of the wild, wild west.
Right. And there's similar concepts in Star Wars where there's the Outer Rim planets and stuff where I think Han Solo probably worked as a smuggler.
That's why he was on Tatooine, and he's on the outskirts of basically the fringe of the universe where the laws
of what the Empire
don't necessarily apply here.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of correlation between these two ships as far as personality and circumstances. Unlike the Millennium Falcon, when I try to do the deep dive into the research on Serenity, I had a real trouble kind of getting like exact specifics. It's hard to find out how fast it was, and it just doesn't have like the fervent, like rabid fan base I think that Star Wars has, where they try to figure all this stuff out.
Well, you got 40 years of Star Wars fans,
right,
compared to 10 or 15 of Serenity. Well, let's see, it came out in early 2000, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Early 2000s.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't have a speed that I can throw against the Millennium Falcon. I do know, and this is much to my chagrin after I picked Serenity, and I forgot this from the original series, the Serenity has no weapon systems aboard.
Yep.
So this death match might be a little one-sided.
Short-lived.
I'm just going to hope the Millennium Falcon's not running this day. Hopefully it's in the shop.
It does break down.
Yeah. And if I recall from the Firefly series, the Firefly had some mechanical issues, but it always ran. Like it never was broken down.
We had the character Katie, I think.
Kaylee.
Yeah. She was a master mechanic. She could fix anything. That was kind of her shtick.
Yeah, she was like this, young, attractive woman. Someone you would not like stereotypically by masculine, feminine tropes, expect to be this like wizard in mechanics. And she always kept that ship kind of humming, even though it was like held together by duct tape and hope.
It was kind of, it was kind of the same thing. You got the appearance that it was kind of in bad shape, but she kept it running ship shape and it never had a problem.
Yeah.
If there was a problem with it, she fixed it right away.
And I think also, we were talking about Han Solo being a daring, bold pilot that was able to do the Kessel Run. Wash, who was the pilot of Serenity, was also like a fairly renowned pilot that was known for doing things that most pilots couldn't do. Throughout the series, it was often noted that he was making Serenity do things that were like nearly impossible. Like he was like this great pilot.
Okay. Yeah, because he was married to the other gal that was in the war with Mal.
Zoe.
Yeah,
she was a soldier with Malcolm in the wars.
They allude to the war quite a bit. That it was pretty traumatic, and I think it was the Chinese versus the Americans, or I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember. There is a strange like Eastern blending with Western culture in that show, which I always thought fascinating, that they would slip back and forth between English and Mandarin all the time.
Yes,
the dialogue. And a lot of the signs were in, Mandarin, Chinese and stuff when they landed on planets. And it was just kind of this weird, like the two cultures had merged somehow.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to me.
I don't remember was it 150 years in the future or something like that?
I don't recall.
Space travel had been going on for quite a while. I know that.
Yeah. Well, and it also, one of the main themes or vibes of the show is they kind of were trying to take that Old West vibe and smash it together with sci-fi. So there was this weird kind of frontier-y, cowboy kind of,
Space cowboys.
Space cowboys, basically. Yeah. It was cool that they did that.
Nathan Fillion did a TV show called Castle. And for Halloween one time, he dressed up as a space cowboy. And he had a daughter. And she's like, space cowboy? And he's like, yeah, doesn't make sense. And he was pretty much dressed in his Mal outfit.
Yeah, because he had like a long duster on. Yeah. His like laser pistol looked like a big revolver kind of thing. And,
yep.
Yeah, there was a weird blending of like the American West mixed with like Mandarin Chinese in that show. It was just awesome.
It was a good show.
Oh yeah,
I wish they would have gone at least another season, but I know there's fans out there that have been pleading and begging to at least go another episode or two.
The greatest show killed before it's gone. For whatever reason, it was.
You would think with Netflix and Hulu, somebody would pick that up, but I suppose Fox owns it, so.
Yeah, I don't know the intellectual property who got it.
If Disney bought Serenity or bought Firefly, this could happen. I did. I wanted to point out that Firefly did make a couple of cameo appearances. One in the Battlestar Galactica reboot, like in the early 2000s. Okay,
and it also made a cameo appearance in Ready Player One, the movie that just came out a couple of years ago. So,
it's in the battle scene probably.
I would assume so. That because I was thinking about that as I saw that note, I'm like, I don't recall that ship in that show, but it must have been when all the Gunters came to the rescue at that big battle at the end.
Yeah,
I'm sure
they just threw
in the background.
They threw everything into that scene. I bet you.
Well, everything except Star Wars properties.
Yeah,
that was
for some reason
huge void. I wonder why they didn't use any Star Wars properties in that movie.
Crazy. So, all right. Well, anything else?
Yeah. So, other than being unarmed, she does have some decoys called crybabies that kind of launch out, and to other ships' radars or sensors, it looks like a ship going in a different direction, which allows the Firefly to basically escape or elude them. So even though she can't fire back, she can elude you and trick you into thinking there are multiple ships out there.
Any cloaking abilities that you know of?
Not that I remember.
Just those decoys.
Just those decoys that would kind of be like, you see it like in submarine technology today where they send out like those buoys, sonar buoys or whatever, and it tricks other submarines into thinking that the submarine's somewhere else rather than where it is.
Okay.
I think that's the premise they were kind of going on.
Okay. So somebody had a little bit of naval knowledge.
Yeah.
Evidently. Well, so we're not going to give a weapon. Why didn't they give it? Well, I think if I remember correctly in the lore and the TV storyline, weapons were outlawed other than the military. I think is why it didn't have any weapons.
It could be. I think it was also meant to be like a transport ship, basically. Yeah. It wasn't meant to be a warship. So it's like, someone making a school bus and putting a machine gun turret. Okay. It just makes no sense for why would you do that?
Okay.
So that's the premise I got anyway of why it's an unarmed ship. Unarmed.
Okay.
And then
because he's a smuggler.
Yeah. So. But another thing I want to bring up, and this is kind of similar to the Millennium Falcon. One of the great parts about that show is the interior of that ship looked so real. It looked lived in. It looked like someone lived in that ship and it was a real ship. They did a great job designing that set of all those interior scenes. And I want to say I was watching, this was years ago, one of the special features on their DVD set for Firefly. There was a special feature at the end where they feature the ship, and it was all one contiguous set. You could really walk through that. It wasn't separate sets. It was really, they were connected you would see them
really
on the ship. So you could walk, obviously there's some fakeness to it. They're fully fleshed out. And I recall in that episode or that special feature, some of the actors would to get into character. They would walk through the ship because it was so kind of real and lived in that helped them get into character.
Wow. I didn't know that. Yeah. Usually they just build, okay, here's the cockpit.
Right.
And then, you got to go over to Studio B, and that's going to be
the living quarters.
And then you go over here, and this is the engine room. And that's cool.
Yeah.
So they just had all one big, wide set.
Yep, that was all interconnected, as it would be really if it were a real ship.
That must be Joss's idea, maybe.
Yeah, it could be, but it was pretty
idea.
Cool.
Yeah,
and for me, it really made the ship seem real.
Oh yeah,
when you saw it in the series. So
it did. They very good set design. So whoever did the set design was definitely worth the money.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about the Millennium Falcon, but I got the same vibe from that. When they're walking around the Millennium Falcon, it seems legitimately
it does
real and so lived in, and things were beat up and rubbed down, and
kind of dirty.
Yeah, it wasn't like some of these sci-fi shows where everything just has an air of fakeness. It was clearly they just built this the week before.
Oh yeah, definitely got that vibe in Empire Strikes Back when they spent a majority of that movie in the Millennium Falcon and outside, and just you got to know that ship inside and out.
Right.
And Firefly too, they spent a lot of time. The bulk of it, the bulk of the time was on the ship. They went to planets.
Yeah, they named the show after the ship.
So yeah,
I guess integral character.
And I don't think towards the end they never blew it up or anything that I remember.
I'm trying to remember because the series was canceled before it had resolution, and then a couple years afterwards they had the movie Serenity,
and they didn't destroy it then. I don't think.
Man, it's been so many years since I've seen it. I know. Spoiler alert: some characters die.
Yes.
I don't know if the ship's in that cast or not. If the ship was destroyed or not.
Yeah. The best was the revelation that Shepard's not actually a shepherd.
Oh, no. Yeah, that guy he had some different history. Such a great show.
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing that episode. That ain't no shepherd. I was like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
I'm sure the forums online just lit up.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's do battle.
All right, let's do it.
I suppose the scenario, they're in space. They face each other, I guess.
If the Millennium Falcon is running,
sometimes that's a big if.
I will deploy crybabies and run away
as fast as possible.
Because I am an unarmed smuggler ship.
Yes. And like we said, running the Kessel Run wasn't necessarily the ship. It's the pilot. So, and I think so now... Help me out. Mal doesn't pilot it. Wash pilots it.
Mal just owns the ship. He's the captain, but he's not.
He doesn't fly it. Okay.
So Wash is always the pilot. See, I don't know. That one made kind of a push because the Millennium Falcon. There's some amazing scenes through asteroid belts and all these crazy things that Chewie and Han and Lando flew that thing.
Yes.
But Firefly's the same. Wash did some amazing piloting stuff in that show.
Yeah.
So, for me to try to outmaneuver the Millennium Falcon, I don't know if that's like just
tough.
Yeah, because
the
only way I'm going to damage the Millennium Falcon is if, like, I draw you in real close and make a maneuver and you fly into, crash into an asteroid
or black hole, or
right.
If you're talking open space, if we're trying to get through an asteroid field, I suppose you could.
Yeah, if you put this battle in asteroid field, there might be a mistake that leads to something. But other than that, it's just like deploy crybabies and run away,
run for your lives. Because the Millennium Falcon also has shielding. I don't know that the Firefly is. He has type of shielding.
Don't recall if it has shielding or not.
Yeah, because
not that it really matters. I mean, what can I do? Throw something out the window at or something?
Roll down the window. Mal has a handgun. He has the window down. And he's shooting out the window like a gangster.
Yeah, drive-by style, pistol sideways.
Han just sitting there like, we got this.
Yeah.
just shoot him with the missile, Chewie, or fly casual. I don't know.
Yeah. So in a gunfight, I think the Serenity is outclassed.
Yeah, it can try to run, but it's only a matter of time. And like I said, the Millennium Falcon can literally cut through time and space.
Yeah, I don't think the Serenity could like break light speed.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it could go pretty fast, but I don't ever recall it like going beyond light speed in that show. I don't think any ship went beyond light speed in that show.
I don't think so. I don't think they did that. So that's one thing that's kind of unique to the Star Wars universe. So it's probably over pretty quickly for Wash and Mal.
Yeah, I'm going to have to probably concede this one. As much as I love that ship. But,
I know. It might not last long.
No, I chose poorly.
Yeah, oh well. Well, you, the listener, you let us know. Maybe we missed something that might give the the Serenity a chance against the Millennium Falcon. So definitely let us know where we messed up at, because we're definitely not perfect in this Star Wars / Serenity universe.
Clearly.
All right, so we got the next one. Lee, you go first with your next one.
All right, so in the first matchup, we did vehicles.
Okay.
This one, we're going with anti-heroes.
Yes.
Right, so we've each chosen an anti-hero. You're selecting from the Star Wars universe. So, listener, I guess you're probably going to figure out pretty rapidly who the anti-hero he's going to pick.
Yep. Shouldn't take long.
In order to match wits with, who the guy that he's going to pick, I've decided to go with Indiana Jones.
Yes.
So we're going to have some Harrison Ford on Harrison Ford action, because everyone knows you're picking Han Solo.
We just went explicit.
Usually you got to pay extra for that kind of action, Cotton. So Indiana Jones is who I'm picking in the anti-hero to go against your Han Solo.
Okay.
So Indiana Jones, he is originally from the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie, which later became a franchise to include 4 movies. Which sounds like there's going to be a 5th from what I hear.
Yeah.
There's another one coming out.
I heard that. We'll see.
There was a TV show, like Young Indiana Jones. Spin-off. And then a variety of mediums from comic books and storybooks.
Video games. So all over the place.
All over the place, yeah. So Indiana Jones was the main character in that. It was originally casted to be Tom Selleck. And Tom Selleck was, from what I read, was all over it. Like, he wanted to do it, and it was going to be great. But he was currently under contract with Magnum PI, and they wouldn't let him out of his contract for the time it would have taken to shoot this movie. Mm-hmm. So they went with their second call, which was Harrison Ford. Spielberg had already done like 2 or 3 movies with Harrison at this point, between Star Wars and like American Graffiti. And
I mean, Lucas?
Oh, Lucas, yeah, my bad.
I mean, Spielberg, I think, was involved, but
yeah. But basically they were afraid, like, oh, we're going to use Harrison Ford again.
Yeah,
so after Selleck wasn't able to get out, they actually had to go with
Harrison Ford,
and obviously he made it like an icon.
Oh yeah, can you imagine Tom Selleck? I don't know.
It would be weird.
It's so embedded,
right? It's so embedded. Don't get me wrong, I love Tom Selleck. I was a huge Magnum PI fan growing up. Mm-hmm. So I would actually like to see a Tom Selleck Indiana Jones, but how different would that be from Harrison Ford Indiana Jones,
It's just so good.
Yeah. So anyway, Indiana Jones, we're talking about iconic characters. The American Film Institute ranked him the 2nd greatest film hero of all time.
Really?
I'm pretty sure Han Solo is not number 1.
That's what I was wondering. What's number 1?
It's not Han Solo.
Okay, well,
I know. Google it, but it's probably not Han Solo.
Oh, wow. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You think about that, during the 80s, I mean, everybody knew who Indiana Jones was. Mm-hmm. Even your grandma would know, oh, okay, that's that guy that's running in front of the boulder.
Yeah. You should probably Google that while you're talking Han Solo.
Okay.
Entertainment Weekly, Empire Magazine also ranked him 2nd on their all-time coolest heroes and pop culture list. All sorts of, he's obviously a clearly iconic character from American film. And so anyway, the character, he's Indiana Jones is a native of Princeton, New Jersey. He became a professor of archaeology. He studied under renowned Egyptologist and archaeologist Abner Ravenwood, who his daughter is who he works with in the first indie movie. We often see him, and I love this about his character, where when he was out on his archaeological adventures, like he was a rough and tumble guy that like could make stuff happen and very, just down to earth, and a guy that would throw fisticuffs and shoot guns and whips and do all sorts of crazy things. But when he got back to his university, he was like, he'd put on the little tweed jacket and his little glasses, and not to say that he was dumb when he was out on his adventures, but you clearly saw a different like intellectual side of him when he was on campus. And I love that part, like in the first movie where he's on campus and like the girls are flirting with him. And then the
she has the things on her eyes. He's like, what?
He's like clearly socially uncomfortable with this.
But yeah, you're right. He gets out, he gets his gun on and his whip on, and
he's almost a different person.
Different Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde almost.
And I love that about his character, where he was kind of formed by his environment.
That's a good point. Was he at the... He was at the university in all of them, or they showed him at the university, I think, in all of them. But the first one was probably more transformative or more iconic.
We're building that character still.
Yeah.
I don't remember him much in the second one. I thought he just started out and he was already in like the Far East.
He was in the Far East.
Because he was at like that nightclub or whatever.
Yeah.
He had to escape from that. And like the kid in the taxi like drove him away.
Yeah. No time for love, Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones!
But the third one, I think he was at the university because he got... a letter or something
about his father, which let him go on. I think there was a brief moment when he was out there.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one, I don't even want to talk about that movie.
Does that one exist? Just kidding. It was, briefly, it was okay, but just definitely not like the other ones.
Yeah, it was,
Let's leave it at that.
Speechless.
Anyway.
Anyway, Indiana Jones, he's armed with a whip. It's a bullwhip, usually about 8 to 10 feet long, I would say. He uses it for a variety of things. He uses it as a weapon to disarm people. He uses it as a way to like get across obstacles. It's kind of an all-purpose tool for him.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, I love the whip.
Did you try to make a whip when you were a kid like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. And you can make a whip, but you couldn't get it to crack like a bullwhip.
Nope.
Yeah, you had to get like the right swatches of leather. And I don't know how they do that at the end where they snap off each other to make that bullwhip sound.
Yeah. I think I tried to use a rope or something.
Yeah, it was beyond my 8-year-old powers. To make a bullwhip.
You still try to whip it around a tree branch and swing across like he did. It just doesn't work.
It never latches on itself like that. It just twirls around and you pull on it and it comes undone.
Anyway, sorry, interrupt, but anyway.
So that was kind of his Swiss Army knife. He had that bullwhip and he did all sorts of cool stuff with it. He also carried a revolver pistol, and I want to say it's probably like a World War I or post World War I era, because the first indie movie was set just prior to like the opening days of World War II, or not maybe opening days, but the years prior.
Yeah, like just a few, like 36 maybe.
Yeah, mid-late 30s, maybe right before the war kicked off. But I would say that Indiana Jones, despite the whip and the gun, his greatest weapon is probably his keen intellect. Like throughout the movies, he's constantly solving problems, constantly getting out of trouble using his brains. Mm-hmm. Anywhere from like disarming traps or like his knowledge of Shiva to defeat, what was that guy's name? Molaram.
Molaram or whatever. Yeah.
And, knowing that if you get inside of a fridge, you can survive a nuclear blast. I mean, clearly a smart guy.
I thought we were going to talk about that.
Sorry, I had to bring that up. One of the greatest, like, jump the shark moments in all of
Oh, gosh, yes.
When he survived that nuclear blast in a fridge. So you have to talk about that. As much as we don't want to.
Because he always kept his cool. He never seemed to really get fresh. Or in a tense situation, you just
unless snakes were involved.
Well, okay.
I was about to say his weakness is snakes. Okay. That's the one thing that unnerves his cool.
Yes.
But you're right. Normally, he's pretty calm, collected. He's always solving problems and using critical thinking, unless snakes are involved. And then, like,
why did it have to be snakes?
Why did it have to be snakes?
I love that.
Yeah, that was also. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this movie, and I will always love this movie. But when they open up that one tomb or whatever it was near the end of Raiders,
yes,
the thing's been sealed for thousands of years. Like when they crack it open, like the air comes shoots out and everything, and then there's thousands of living snakes in there. I'm like, how did those snakes survive?
Good point.
Remember
they had the holes in the wall.
But still, it was sealed. Like when they broke it,
It's a good point.
So that the whole thing had to be sealed. Like, how did those snakes survive for millennia? You know,
in the dark, in the
dark.
cold, the reptiles.
Yeah, what did they eat? You know,
Lots of cockroaches, I guess. I don't know.
and eventually the air would have just become so like
If it was
carbon
sealed,
dioxide.
that's a good point. If it was sealed,
Yeah, they're
it wouldn't
breathing
have
all
done
the
that.
oxygen. Yeah, if there's any way to get out, that they wouldn't have broke the seal. And they
Okay,
popped it.
George, you need to explain that.
Yeah, so I mean, every movie's got its plot holes, but that was one of those things where I'm like, this is clearly not realistic.
It was a great movie.
Oh yeah,
And I watched it, I think, quite a few years later. I think, my brother had some friends over and they watched it, and I was probably 8 or 9. And I don't know that I'll let my 9-year-old watch it. It's pretty bloody, and
oh yeah.
you know, he shoots the guys and it goes through all 3 of those, and the guy gets cut up by the propeller.
I was gonna say that's the nastiest one that I
and then
recall.
the guy melts his face, of course.
Oh yeah, when they open the ark and like one guy melts, and multiple guys melt and blow up.
Blow up.
Yeah.
One guy, he was driving that truck and he falls off the truck and gets run over, and his legs and arms just go straight up in the air.
I forgot about that. He runs that guy
And
over.
yeah, I mean, it's like, wow. Or at the beginning, you know, he has the guy, spikes go through the guy.
Yep.
I really love George's, you can say what you want about George, but I do like these little vignettes or whatever that he puts at the beginning of every movie. He does that in the Star Wars movie. He does that in Indiana Jones, where we have this little short 20. It kind of ties to the rest of it, but it doesn't. Mm-hmm. You know, where he goes to the jungle and he has to swap out the figure and stuff. And,
Yep.
And then in Star Wars, for example, you have Hoth, you have Jabba's palace. You know, you have a little intro.
Yeah.
I like that. It just explores a little bit.
Yeah, character development, little side quest, whatever that's kind of gives you a vibe of what the theme of the movie's about, what the character's going to be about.
I'm surprised my parents let me watch it. I was like, wow, this is kind of... Of course, we know. I think it was Simple Doom. That's the one that started the PG-13 requirements.
Oh, was it?
Because of ripping the guy's heart out of his chest. And like, this is PG?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You used to be able to get away with some crazy stuff for PG in the 80s before they had PG-13.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, as you can probably guess, my character is Han Solo. So another Harrison Ford character. Han Solo, of course, is the anti-hero in Star Wars that doesn't believe in the Force, and he's just free. Nobody backs him in a corner, so to speak, and he can kind of do whatever he wants. And speaking of casting, you talked about Tom Selleck. Well, Kurt Russell actually had applied an audition for the part, and you can see that audition on YouTube, so I'll include it in the show notes. So Kurt Russell could have been Han Solo.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I loved Kurt Russell. He did a lot of great anti-heroes, from Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, he did some great characters that kind of fit that same anti-hero.
So that one you might be able to see maybe more than a Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones. I don't know.
Yeah.
See, I think some others, let's see, Al Pacino, Nick Nolte, Christopher Walken, or some others that were considered for Han Solo. I don't think Kurt Russell would have been the only one out of that.
Out of that group. I mean, don't get me wrong. Those guys are great actors, and they could probably do some interesting things with that character. But Kurt Russell would definitely be my second choice from that list.
Yeah, he'd be the only one I think that would make it. His iconic look is the gun, of course, and then the white shirt with the blue vest, and then the little sidearm that he has.
Yeah,
and he has the gun. Speaking of the gun, so the gun is a DL-44 type pistol, I guess.
Okay.
Highly modifiable. So we have the theme here. The Millennium Falcon was highly modifiable. His gun is highly modifiable. Okay. So I think Han just doesn't like anything the way it is. He likes to tinker, I guess.
He's a tinkerer.
But it's a pistol based upon a Mauser C96 semi-automatic pistol that was produced in Germany from 1896 to 1937. And I'll have a picture in the show notes, and you can see, oh yeah, this is definitely a lot like it.
Yeah, they just put some pieces of plastic around the outside of it. And
pretty much.
Yeah,
they did that a lot.
Yeah.
I think in Star Trek, one of the communicators that they had, I don't remember which one, so if you're a Star Trek fan, I'm probably totally screwing up, but one of them was just a painted Bic razor that they painted and put something on top of it, so it looks like he kind of holds it in his hand and he talks into it.
Interesting.
That's all it was. But anyway, that's kind of what they did here. They just let's put some stuff on this gun.
In a way, I kind of like that though, because as long as you can make it look different enough where it's not instantly recognizable, it makes that weapon system seem real.
Yes.
Because it is real. You're just putting something on it. So it gives that sense of grit that we were kind of talking about with the Serenity of the Millennium Falcon. We're like, this looks like a legit weapon.
Yeah.
And, well, obviously, you got to deck it up a little bit. If it just looked like a Mauser, then you'd be like, why does Han Solo have a Mauser?
A 1896 gun. But it was a powerful, reliable sidearm. The feature was that it would buzz when it gets down to 5 shots left so that the person holding it would know, okay, I'm getting low on energy here. And I guess it was good in the fact that it was really powerful. Bad in the fact that it didn't have a lot of distance.
Okay.
So if you're trying to shoot somebody 200 feet away, probably wouldn't work. But if you're 30 feet away, it's going to shoot a hole right through you.
Well, that's pretty true of pistols anyway. I mean, pistols aren't long range weapons to start with. They're supposed to be short range.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm not a weapons expert.
Get your rifle if you want to shoot a long distance.
Okay, good point. But yeah, so that was the good and the bad, but it was highly modifiable, which a lot of smugglers and bounty hunters and military liked. He did use Chewie's crossbow once. Remember in Force Awakens, like, what, you never shot this? You'd been hanging around Chewie for 30 years or whatever. He never shot his bowcaster. So that was the only time he shot that.
And he kind of liked it too.
He did. He did. Yeah, that's right. He did.
There was some regret after that. He's like, why haven't I shot this thing before?
Like, that should, all these years.
Yeah.
And digging into his personality, of course, we know Han shot first. So he is a little bloodthirsty. You talked about Indiana Jones being able to function under pressure, but we have the scene in the Star Wars New Hope when they break into the jail. I think he blows up the cameras.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'll try to quote it here. Had a slight weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Quickly follow, like, what's your identification number or something like that?
Yes.
And then he shoots it.
And then he just shoots it.
Boring conversation ananyway.
Yeah. I love that scene.
Yeah.
But I've been at that. You're like, what do I say now?
Yeah. Well, you were talking about Han shot first. Such a great scene to establish his character. Totally defined him as the anti-hero, the guy that's willing to bend the laws to get, what he needs done. Not afraid to shoot first, shoot under the table, shoot a guy in the back.
Yeah. And just casually pays the guy on the way out. Yeah. Sorry about the mess. And leave. Such a great way to establish his character. I know.
And I think you saw something similar to that with Indiana Jones in the chase scene. I think it's through Cairo.
Okay.
And he's constantly fighting off all these henchmen and thugs that are chasing him. And he finally comes to the guy that's got the scimitar. And he's spinning it. And he's just like, nope. Instead of going for the whip, he just pulls the gun out and like shoots the guy like right in cold blood. Like,
yeah. That's a good point. So you establish his like, you know what? I'm tired of these guys.
Right.
I'm just going to shoot you.
Yeah, I'm clearly the anti-hero, the rules of honor,
Obi-Wan sets it up, too, and then getting back to Star Wars, it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yep.
And the guy, Han just shoots him.
Exactly.
So, obviously, establishes the fact that rules don't apply. He was a space jock. He was just larger than life. Kind of like I said, he was free to roam the universe. He just wanted to not take sides. He dropped his loot, is why, because the Empire was trying to board him. Jabba was after him because he dropped his loot, Jabba wanted his money back.
Right.
If Han was one of your friends, he'd be the guy who gets a little too drunk at the bar, probably doesn't pay his tab. He also is going to be the funniest person there and the one guy you always want to go out with night after night.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes. In the Star Wars movie, back to kind of the original script, I found out that originally Lucas wanted him as a green-skinned alien Jedi with gills. So he kind of looked he kind of looked like Swamp Thing.
Wow.
And Luke was much older. And Dark Horse actually made a comic based upon Lucas's original script. Mm-hmm. And so they draw him in here as the green-skinned alien. Yeah, I've never seen it. I just found out about it just a few days ago that's something that they did.
When you were rummaging through that, I've heard rumors, and I'm not sure if you came across this as well, that Luke Skywalker's character was also a woman in the original.
Oh, I don't remember
script
that.
by Lucas.
It might have
had Han as a green-skinned alien.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've heard rumors.
Yeah,
I've never
a good one.
Confirmed that or not.
Well, listener, if you know that, let us know. I'd be curious. I would imagine as you hear about all these scripts, all the revisions that goes on, that I wouldn't be surprised that Han was a green skinned alien, Luke was a female.
Yep.
He also talks about doesn't believe in the Force, and he kind of, I heard somebody say, well, he's kind of the older moviegoers in the 70s that just, what's all this sci-fi stuff coming out? You have Star Trek, you have Battlestar Galactica, and now you have this, what is all this stuff? So he's kind of an antithesis of those type of moviegoers.
Sure.
That, like,
I can see
space
that.
stuff.
Right.
And doesn't believe in all that stuff. But as we know, he does have a heart of gold and does finally come around and goes with the rebellion and ends up being a general in the rebellion. He's a ladies' man, of course. They don't really delve into it quite as much as like Indiana Jones, but obviously has a heart for Leia and whatnot. So,
yeah, that's also one of the greatest movie lines that when he's getting ready to get frozen in the carbonite and Leia's like, I love you. And his response was, I know. What an arrogant piece of work.
Well, I did read that there's some backstory on that he was complaining to George Lucas about some of the dialogue.
Yeah.
And so he just did that. That wasn't in the script. He was supposed to say,
it's so great for his character, though.
Yeah, exactly. He did it, and Lucas was like, I kind of like that. Let's just leave it in there.
Yeah. I'm glad he did it, because Lucas had definitely some cringeworthy dialogue in a lot of his movies, but that line is so iconic. Yes. And so defines his character.
One thing I was going to mention, we talked about Firefly or Serenity earlier. I guess if you look on a lot of the sets, and I'll have a link in the show notes with some pictures, there is Han Solo frozen in carbonite all throughout the Firefly series. He appears in there 8 times in the background. So
Really?
You were talking about the set designs.
Yeah.
You can see little miniature, they're probably 8 inches, 6 inches tall, little casts of Han Solo frozen in carbonite just in the background.
Really?
On several different
I'm going to have to
things.
go back and watch that.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, so I'll have a link in the show notes. Somebody went through and found them all. So
A bunch of Easter eggs hidden.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
awesome.
So you can see Han Solo all through the movies. Or all through the TV show, excuse me.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all I have on Han Solo, but great character. Again.
Yeah. Anyway, I was able to finally do some research and found out the American Film Institute's top film heroes of all time. As previously discussed, Indiana Jones was number 2. So number 1 was Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird, which is a huge surprise for me.
Yeah, again, never seen the movie, never read the book, but okay.
Yeah, did Atticus Finch spark 4 more movies, a TV show, a lunchbox, and a video game series? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing up there. But anyway, some other noticeable entries in there. James Bond was number 3.
I can see that.
Rocky Balboa was number 7. Wait a minute. Han Solo number 14? Oh, no.
Is this going to affect the battle? I don't know. Like you said, he does have, Indiana Jones does have 4 movies, or 3 movies?
4 and counting. 5 coming out.
Are we going to count the 4th one?
Now we are.
Anyway, 4 movies, video games, books, TV series.
Right.
But, okay. Well, Atticus Finch.
All right, so we're ready to do some battle here?
Maybe we need to do Han Solo or Indiana Jones versus Atticus Finch.
No. We do not.
I don't want to read the book.
Or see the movie.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do battle.
All right.
Han Solo does have a high pain threshold.
Oh, that's right.
Remember the torture scene in Empire Strikes Back where Vader, puts him on that, I don't know what that thing is, electrocutes him.
Yeah, when he's getting tortured in Cloud City.
Yeah.
I will counter that with Indiana Jones also has a high pain tolerances. He repeatedly got beat up and thrown out of vehicles. And even when he was trying to recover back on that ship, Marion flips the mirror and whacks him right in the face, but he still keeps coming back for more.
Yes, that was a great scene. What is the line? It's not the miles, or not the years, it's the miles.
Yep.
Yeah, to wax him.
She turns the mirror and it cuts away to the outside of the ship and all you hear is a scream.
Yes. Oh man, he got the crap beat out of him constantly.
Oh yeah. Drugged behind a truck.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a push there. They both seem pretty tolerant to pain.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you listen, I didn't realize this, but on Empire Strikes Back, when you can hear him still screaming in the background as they're walking down the hall quite a ways away.
Yeah.
And I wasn't I didn't notice that the first few times I watched it, and I was like, holy cow, you can still hear him screaming down the hallway.
Well, and they brought him back to the cell and threw him there with Chewie, and he like couldn't stand up.
Couldn't even stand up.
He was all like jacked up. But
yeah. So he does have a high pain tolerance.
Yeah.
And he did survive being frozen in carbonite.
That's true.
And they did get right as soon as they unfroze him, he wanted to help Leia, even though he couldn't see.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, we need to help Leia get out of here and all that stuff.
Yeah, because that whole battle over that pit. He was,
Sarlacc.
The Sarlacc, yeah. He was blind. And he could barely... I mean, his coordination was kind of messed up. And
still took out
equilibrium.
Boba Fett. Being blind.
Yeah, by accident. That was...
I know.
I love that movie, but...
that part
where it's just like the galaxy's greatest bounty hunter gets taken out by like an accidental shot.
Hit from behind.
Yeah.
I don't know. Of course, how would you have done it? I mean...
I don't know, an epic battle, maybe?
I guess. Too much comedy there, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it does make for comedy value, but it was just kind of... I am curious. I don't know, but by the time this episode comes out, the Mandalorian on Disney Plus will probably already be out.
It will be,
because we're recording it like the week before it comes out, so we're still out in the dark as far as that series goes.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see more.
But it looks amazing, though.
It does. Sure. It does. He's not going to get taken out by a blind guy on a gaffa stick or whatever those things are.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have that. He got unfrozen.
Okay.
He survived carbonite.
Survived a nuclear blast in a refrigerator. Come on.
So that's why you need the fourth movie.
That's why I need the fourth movie. There's my carbonite surviving story there.
Well, but then Han Solo does have a laser blaster, and he was trained in the military, but that could be a detriment because it's the same military that's trained stormtroopers.
That is true. And they can't hit anything.
But he was a smuggler, and he did take out bounty hunters, I assume. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't delve much into that. But yeah, that's a con for me, is you did go to the Stormtrooper Shooting Academy.
Yeah. I'm chalking that up. That's terrible.
I'll give you that point. But he does have a blaster. Indiana Jones only has a whip and a pistol.
And a pistol. But he's got the whip. I
know.
Mean, who needs a laser blaster when you have a whip to do all that kind of stuff?
Whip does look pretty cool, I'm going to have to admit.
and I also want to put in the fact that Han Solo has Chewbacca. He has his right-hand man throughout that time. And Chewie saves his life on several occasions. Like he's, that's why they're bonded as friends for life. They saved each other's lives all these times. Whereas Indiana Jones needs no sidekick. He survives all his adventures on his own.
In a refrigerator.
And with a whip and a gun.
Yes.
And his own keen intellect. So he's a self-made man who needs no backup.
Good point. Point. Yeah, I don't know. It could be tough there.
Yeah.
I'll have to admit
I was afraid you were going to throw in the short round thing there, where like short round was Indy's Chewie, and I was going to come across this table at you.
Short round, yes.
That was his name, right?
It was.
Temple of Doom.
I was going to say he does have the Asian kid with the block on his foot because he can't reach the pedal.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Not his sidekick.
He's so funny. That's not the same guy that's in Goonies, I don't think.
No, it's not the same actor.
I didn't think so.
I don't think, or maybe it is. The actor who played Short Round is, I'm probably going to screw his name up here, Ke Huy Quan. Yeah, I'm totally screwing that up. Born in 1971 in Vietnam. Stars in Goonies, stars in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
So it was the same guy.
Yeah, he was in apparently the X-Men movie. Yeah, so same kid.
Oh,
Goonies and Short Round. Short Round from Temple of Doom.
Because Goonies would have been several years later. So that's why he's a little bit older.
A little bit older.
Because I think Temple of Doom was 81 or 82 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
He was 84.
So it was the same kid.
Same kid.
So you're saying Indiana doesn't need a sidekick.
He doesn't need one. He was saddled with one in one movie. But,
forced to.
He was forced to have this sidekick that he did not need.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I just think Han's got the blaster.
He does have
could
a
be a game
technological
changer.
edge.
Could be a game changer. And it depends on if he's standing next to the Millennium Falcon or not.
Yeah, because Indy doesn't have a ship. That's like not even fair.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't need a ship.
He doesn't need a ship.
Unless Han just throws a snake at him.
Yeah, I do have the one weakness with the snakes. So
that's his kryptonite.
That's my kryptonite as far as if there's any sort of snakes involved in this battle.
It's over.
It's over. So that is my phobia. I don't know.
Cool. I don't know. Well,
you leave it up to the listeners.
Leave it up to the listener. Let them decide if we've missed something. But You just never know.
It would be such an epic, not necessarily maybe a fight, but I would love to see like a comic book company or something, if they could ever get the rights to both those characters, have like some sort of crazy crossover event. I saw something similar to that with a couple of the Jack Burton and the other Kurt Russell, Snake Plissken from Escape from New York, where the two Kurt Russell characters were like linked up in some sort of crazy comic crossover.
They did do a crossover, and I'll have to look it back up where it was, but that Indiana Jones was at an archaeology a dig site, and he found the bones of Han Solo because he found the pistol and some other stuff. So he found a dig where the Millennium Falcon had crashed or something
time
like
ago
that.
in a galaxy far away.
So that's how they did it.
Yeah, interesting tie-in.
A comics version of it, or a funny version of it, would be Indiana Jones and Han Solo in a bar trying to pick up women.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun. At Mos Eisley or something like that, and making a bet on stuff.
It would be a fun crossover.
Because they're ladies, man. So
yeah.
All right, so next pick.
We did ships.
We did
anti-heroes. Now we're doing...
Oh, boy.
Teddy bears.
Let's see. My memory's so bad. Did you go first?
I did go first. You're up on this one.
Teddy bears. Sticking to the Star Wars theme, of course, you know that Return of the Jedi had the Ewoks. So the Ewoks are these little... meter-high, yard-high, furry creatures that George Lucas came up with. Ewoks is actually, if you take Wookiee and you pronounce it backwards, I guess, the way it sounds is Wookiee backwards.
Oh, okay.
That's how he came up with that, is Ewok.
Okay.
But they are on the planet, or the Endor moon, and they are furry little creatures, and they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
They live in the forest. They live in these little huts on the top of the tall trees there. They are all over the planet. According to Kevin J. Anderson, he did the illustrated Star Wars, and he talks about them. They can pretty much adapt and live everywhere. So they're almost, the way he portrays them is they're almost like rodents. They'll live in the cliffs over here. They'll live on the lake, and they can build houses there. And they're just
little survivors
everywhere. Okay. They can adapt to pretty much anything. George Lucas wanted them to be primitive, wanted them to be on the planet to help with taking out the Empire, as we see in the movie. They have their little gliders. They have their little log traps. Pitfall traps. They have catapults. They have spears. They have hatchets. And somehow they're able to pierce stormtrooper armor.
Yep.
Again.
Yeah, they took out an AT-ST or two as well
with it. And
their traps.
He did mention, though, that they do adapt quickly. So when they do see something, they can learn it very quickly. As we saw when he steals a speeder bike, when they take over the AT-ST, they're able to drive it. Now, in that case, Chewbacca helped him drive it.
Right.
At least they allude to that in Kevin J. Anderson's book, that they can quickly figure stuff out.
They're crafty little
burgers, and they're everywhere. Again, they're like rabbits and rodents. They also, after the war, some of them become what they call slicers, which are hackers, and they become coffee farmers 2 years after the Battle of Endor. This is all obviously extended universe stuff.
Right.
So take it for what it's worth.
The disowned legends and myths you speak of.
Now, you'll be happy about this. In the Clone Wars, they talk about Ewok jerky that they're selling on another planet.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, you bring up an interesting point with the Ewok jerky, because I remember they all have very cute, like flat, like teeth, like herbivore teeth. But they were going to eat some people in Return of the Jedi. I mean, they had them strung up.
Yes.
And they were going to cook them.
Yeah, they are not herbivores.
No, they are clearly omnivores.
Yes. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, because they get captured and they hang them up and they're getting ready to burn them over the fire. I think Han was going to get burned or cooked first.
Yeah.
I'm going to spit.
Which, reflecting back on the Han versus Indy fight, I should have totally brought up that Han got captured by teddy bears.
Okay.
And he had to be saved by a golden droid.
So that leads me into another thing I found out, that originally George was going to have Han be killed by Ewoks.
Oh my goodness!
And so just think how shameful that would have been if we had Han Solo killed by Ewoks.
That'd have been terrible. That's worse than Boba Fett's like accidental death.
Exactly.
Oh my!
Han gets killed by Ewoks. Thank God.
Yeah.
So it could have been worse. It could have been worse.
Yeah.
So
I mean, his death at his son's hand was pretty epic. That would have been terrible if he died to the Ewoks.
Yeah. Which is worse, being killed by an Ewok or killed by your son with a lightsaber?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Ewoks would have been way worse. So.
Oh, way worse.
But so the Ewoks were in the Return of the Jedi, but they also had a cartoon called the Ewoks that was kind of hand in hand with the Droids cartoon that they had out at the same time, because this was the 80s and he was trying to milk it for everything it was worth, I guess.
Right.
So they had Ewoks cartoon that came out, I think, in 85 and 86, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, 85 and 86 on ABC. Saturday morning cartoon. Then in 84, they had a made-for-TV movie.
I remember.
That came out on ABC as well. So you're already kind of seeing the Disney tie to ABC already here.
Yeah.
Kind of. Anyway, so it was a live-action movie called The Caravan of Courage.
Mm-hmm.
And it has two young kids that try to locate their parents on Endor, or the moon of Endor. Because Endor was the name of the gas giant, and this is the moon of Endor, just to clarify, I guess, how that all worked.
Well, that's not the movie I remember. There was a different movie I remember.
And then, there was a second one called Ewoks, The Battle for Endor. That's came out in 85.
I remember. Okay.
And that's where they have the girl from the first movie is in it. And she gets orphaned, so her parents... So they find their parents. The parents die anyway later on, and joins the Ewoks to protect their village to defeat the Marauders who have taken control of the Endor moon. Those Marauders, I guess, had crashed onto the planet.
Okay.
And there's this witch, the shape-shifting witch, and...
Yeah, I did not realize there were two movies. I distinctly remember one as a kid and watching it painfully. But I was not a huge fan of the Ewoks, if you're not picking up on it.
Yeah, I guess. And they were kind of annoying too, but at the time when you're a kid and it's the 80s and you're like we talked about, at least where I live, we only had two channels most of the time.
Yeah.
So it was either that or
limited.
Yeah, you watched that, or it was Falcon Crest or Golden Girls or something.
Right. There was no Netflix and no
no cable,
no streaming.
It was either this or nothing. So you watched it.
You did watch it, like it or not.
Like it or not, you watched it, and we were always. It's hard to imagine, but there was a time when there just wasn't a lot of Star Wars. This was after Return of the Jedi; they were done. We hadn't heard anything about any other movies, so this was it.
At that time, there was no intention to make more movies, I'm pretty sure. That wasn't until much later.
Yeah, not until much later. You're talking 10, 15 years later.
Like the late 90s or something like that. Yeah.
Before there was discussion. Of course, they had other characters in there that weren't mentioned, and I'm not going to go through them all, but I'll have them in the show notes. But the Ewoks were never mentioned by name in the Return of the Jedi, which I kind of forgot about. I was like, oh yeah, they never really said
They never say the word Ewok in Return of the Jedi.
They didn't. They were just in the credits, and they list the names of the Ewoks in the credits. Like Wicket was kind of the primary one.
Yeah, he was the one that was with Leia.
Yeah,
he was like the cutest of the cute.
The cute ones, and he was the one featured in the TV movies and in the cartoon.
Right,
of course, he's cutie. Then they had lots of weapons that Kenner made. Kenner made the Ewok battle wagon, which is a battering ram kind of device with the skull over it, and I'll have a picture in the show notes. But Kenner this came out after the movie came out in 85.
Okay.
And they were really trying to keep the action figure gravy train going.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I never had any Kenner figures, but I know you had several of them. Yeah, you never had the Ewok battle wagon.
I did not have the Ewok battle wagon. I'm embarrassed to say I did own a couple of Ewok figures when I was a kid. I still have them. I showed them to you before the episode. I have Wicket, and I have, I think it's their medicine man. He's like the
Master Logray.
Yeah, he's like taller with like the beige stripes.
Yep.
Out of all the Ewoks, he was kind of the coolest to me because if I recall, his head thing had like a skull on it.
Yes, he did.
Which was kind of like, all right, it's a teddy bear with a skull hat. That's kind of cool.
He does. Yeah, he has the skull over it, and that's what the battle wagon has the skull too.
Yeah. So I'll give him props for that.
You can get a vintage, I saw on eBay, a vintage Ewok battle wagon for $396.
A steal.
Complete.
Yeah.
You can get incomplete for, I think, $19.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. If you want
price of toy collecting, I'll tell you what.
If you want to drown yourself in Ewok lore, you can get the Ewok battle wagon. and then you can set it on fire.
I say for $395, I can make an Ewok battle wagon. This is like rough lumber and a couple of stone wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a paper mache skull.
I love the primitive look they try to give it, but that's kind of the vibe they got. Is they're primitive, they're very superstitious.
Yeah, they're Stone Age culture that was kind of a throwback in that whatever sci-fi.
But they're very vicious. But you look at him, and like I said before we recorded, and you kind of look at these pictures, you just see the black, soulless eyes almost. And,
they do have like weird eyes, don't they?
And like I said, the teeth, they're just, I don't think they're that cute, other than they are kind of, just the furry type teddy bear. But
there was some paradox to him, because like the Wicket one was all cute when he was with Leia and stumbling around, and she was, kind of hugging him and helping him crawl over logs. And then you're right, you'd see these other ones that are just like creepy looking with their soulless eyes and their skull hats. And then the fact that they were going to eat people, it's just like, wow, these things are weird.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I just could not get over the fact that they were just giant teddy bears.
Yeah.
And then when they started like winning against the stormtroopers, I was like, what the?
Yeah.
To me as a kid, like the value of your hero is based on like how great your villain is. So as soon as the Ewoks were like giving it to the stormtroopers, it like devalues the stormtroopers, and therefore it devalues the rebellion. I mean, because the rebellion can't beat the stormtroopers, but the Ewoks can. Like, the heck?
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. When you watch that, you're like, this just isn't believable.
Right. Or, if you want to believe it, then it's just like, then the rebellion's useless.
Pathetic.
It's pathetic. If the Ewoks can beat the stormtroopers, the rebellion can.
With an axe and some spears. And
so that's why I always have the problem with the Ewoks.
They should have.
They devalue the villains and therefore the heroes.
I don't know, how else would you have spin it? Not to spend a whole lot of time on that, but could you have still used the Ewoks as a character to take out the Empire in some way, shape, or form? Maybe, he stole the speeder bike, and Han says, oh, well, now there's just one. So that's believable.
Right.
But all these Ewoks coming from all sides and trying to take out the stormtroopers.
Yeah, and all these elaborate traps that would have taken like hours to build suddenly like sprung up out of nowhere.
Yeah. Kevin J. Anderson talks about that because they had killed a bunch of the Ewoks in the area to put up the shield.
Oh, so they already been fighting.
So they were already starting to
that makes
try
sense.
to take them out anyway.
Okay.
Because they're very tenacious. That's another thing. They're tenacious and they easily adapt. So that's why he said, oh, okay, well, that's why some of these traps were already there.
That makes sense.
That's why they knew about where the base was at and some other things about them. Yeah, I don't know how else you would spin it if you had the Ewoks without some of that, but you're right. It puts in a tinge of misbelief or disbelief.
Yeah. And I understand why they did it. It sells toys. It attaches children to it of a certain age and certain mindset. You see it in the new movies too. What was The Last Jedi, where Chewie befriends those porgs.
The porgs, yes.
And he wants to eat it, but then he sees their sad little soulless black eyes.
Yes.
And, it's kind of this weird twist where he's going to eat the porg instead of him being eaten by the Ewoks, years earlier. But there's this weird. They feel like compelled to like put these fuzzy, cute creatures in these movies, which they have their place, but sometimes I just like cringe at it, where it's like it's too heavy-handed.
Yeah, it's almost forcing it to get down your throat,
right? And because they know they can sell 10 billion worth of toys because they put a porg in this movie and gave it 3 minutes of film time that's like completely pointless.
Good point.
Storyline.
At least the Ewoks had a decent amount of the movie, and they kind of served a purpose.
They did. They were intricate to the storyline as much as it pained me to see it. And the porgs in the new one, I don't think they served a purpose at all other than comedic relief and to sell toys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry to sound salty, but but Lucas was going to have the Wookiees take out the Empire on Endor Moon somehow.
Yeah.
But he said he wanted more primitive characters, because since the Wookiees had, bowcasters and everything else, he wanted primitive Ewoks, but still to be kind of fuzzy and furry to do it. So I don't know.
It's crazy.
Well, what do we got on your side?
All right. So I thought long and hard about what kind of teddy bear outside of the Star Wars universe could possibly stand up to these raging Ewoks. And I've decided to go with the brutal Care Bears.
All right.
So an adversary worthy of the Ewoks, since we were talking about, villains devaluing heroes. This is my villain to devalue your hero.
Yes.
So the Care Bears, originally made in 1981 by American Greeting Cards, is just a way to sell greeting cards.
Really?
And they became so popular that they became a teddy bear toy in 1983. And then by 1985, they got their own TV show, which lasted 3 years. They got their own cartoon show. There were 3 feature films, cartoon obviously. And between 91 and present day, they've been relaunched 4 times on TV and cartoons.
Really?
So they just will not go away, speaking of tenacious.
Yeah. 4 times?
Yeah. Wow. And all started out just there were cute bears on greeting cards.
On a greeting card.
That's all it was.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought they were always just the plush bears that you bought, and they came out with a cartoon, and kind of like G.I. Joe, they use, or Motu, where they use the cartoon to sell bears.
Toys.
Yeah.
Nope, all the way around. Try to sell cards, and then it just spun into toys and cartoons and everything else. Wow. Interesting. I don't know if there's been anything else like any other toy line or kids cartoon that has spun out of something so random as like these greeting cards.
Well, there is one. Jimmy Neutron was a character that they created for a toothpaste commercial.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's where that got started.
And he got his own show.
Then he got his own show. My kids have watched it a lot back in, it's been early 2000s.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that was a TV commercial.
Okay.
TV toothpaste commercial.
All right.
Yeah, so there's one. But greeting cards, I know, what?
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
So the Care Bears, they come from the Kingdom of Caring, which their home in the Kingdom of Caring is Care-a-Lot, obviously a spin-off of Camelot. They draw a lot of stuff from Arthurian legends, actually, which is kind of interesting. Other locations in the Kingdom of Caring include the Forest of Feelings, where the Care Bear cousins live. There's a whole non-bear. There are other creatures, the Care Bear cousins, equally adorable. But they live in the Forest of Feelings.
I love it.
This is hurting me to do this.
I know.
10 original Care Bears when they launched the cartoon: Bedtime Bear, Birthday Bear, Cheer Bear, Friend Bear, Funshine Bear, Good Luck Bear, Grumpy Bear, Love-A-Lot Bear, Tenderheart Bear, and Wish Bear.
Okay.
So they're kind of like the 7 dwarves, but they're all like positive
bears.
Feelings, and they're bears. Like I said, pay a lot of franchise homage to the King Arthur with the Care-a-Lot. Is like Camelot, also reminiscent to Lancelot's name. In the castle of Care-a-Lot, the Care Bears sit around a round table similar to Arthur and his knights. So
I remember that now.
Yeah,
okay.
Really drew a lot from it, which is kind of interesting. So the Care Bears, they don't eat people like the Ewoks. They don't build elaborate traps to crush ATSTs and whatnot. What they have is their ultimate weapon is the Care Bear stare.
Yes.
They stand together in a group and they radiate light from their tummies. And on their tummy is like the symbol of, like a heart or a cloud.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Like Good Luck Bear has the shamrock.
Horseshoe or the shamrock. That's what it is, yeah. So all their little Care Bear stare light radiates out of their little cute, adorable tummies. And it forms a ray of love and good cheer, which can target anyone's heart and bring them to like a happy, warm place. And takes all the bite out of their heart.
Oh my gosh.
So they will kill you with kindness.
Literally.
Literally kill you with kindness. Yeah, so there's several different ways they show them the cartoons. Sometimes it was just one beam coming out of a stomach. Sometimes they would join up and all the beams would come together to make a giant rainbow beam. But it always involved basically killing their opponents with kindness. But they would just
the villain.
All the evil would leave their heart.
That's awesome.
So the Care Bears, they would sit in Care-a-Lot, and they had a carometer that reflected all the caring that was happening on Earth. And
that's awesome.
When the carometer got too low, it would affect Care-a-Lot, where all the colors would get desaturated and things would sort of turn black and white,
gray and stuff.
Okay. So they would go on caring missions to Earth to bring caring back to the Earthlings, which would then save Care-a-Lot.
Didn't they have a couple kids? I mean, they always did that in those cartoons. They had a couple kids, I think I remember.
Yeah, they were like the foil characters that you could identify with as a young child to watch it. Yeah, so they would go on these caring missions to bring the light back to Care-a-Lot and bring caring into the world.
Yes, I love the catchphrases. Care Bears, prepare to stare.
Oh, yeah, they love their rhymes.
Yes, Care Bears countdown. Oh, my gosh. So they came a plush teddy bear in 1983. Did you have a Care Bear?
I did not have a Care Bear. I had Ewoks, but not a Care Bear.
My younger brother did. And I kind of remember watching, because they had some movies.
Yeah, three feature films. And
feature film. Oh, so it wasn't TV movies, were they?
Well, I think they were released to TV, but they were feature length, I guess.
Okay.
But not theatrical.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, 3 years of cartoon and 3 feature films. It just hurts me to say this because, like, Thundar the Barbarian, Black Star, Brave Star, all these great cartoons did not have 3-year runs.
No.
But the Care Bears did. It's like, oh, what? No.
Now, Lee, we need a Care Bear stare. I know. What is his name? Carolot or Cheer Bear. You need some Cheer Bear.
I need Cheer Bear to come, or Funshine Bear or something, because apparently I'm
Grumpy Bear.
I'm Grumpy Bear.
They were 1983, though. I remember that a little vaguely because I was still pretty young, but those things were huge.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wanted one of those, like the Tickle Me Elmo was in the 90s. Everybody wanted a Care Bear.
Well, I was going to say, as you were talking about the Ewoks, because Return of the Jedi came out, 83?
83, I believe. Mm-hmm.
Care Bears became a teddy bear in 83, and then a cartoon in 85. And when was the big Teddy Ruxpin?
I think that was a little later, but yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
It just, for whatever reason, mid-80s, there was a teddy bear bonanza.
I think Ruxpin was 86.
Was it?
Or 87, but still well within
this mid-80s
timeline.
Teddy bears were all the rage. From Ewoks to Care Bears to Teddy Ruxpin. It was,
You could kind of say that the Care Bears kicked it off, because that was in 81 when she created them.
Yeah, golden age of teddy bear toys.
Maybe George Lucas is like, I'm going to create a Care Bear, but we're going to call them Ewoks.
Yep. Well, you can see the picture that you have in your printout here, and you can put in the show notes if you want, but the picture of the Ewoks cartoon, they look a lot like Care Bears.
They do.
Yeah, the way they're animated is very Care Bear-like.
Oh, yeah. Very, very much.
Yeah.
And then I think Disney had the Gummy Bears.
Was there a Gummy Bear TV show?
There's a Gummy Bear cartoon that came out. It was later. I think it was 87 or 88.
Well, they probably saw the money that the Care Bears and Ewoks were making.
Same type of concept, though. Yeah. These cute, cuddly bears, and you had a grumpy bear for the Gummy Bears, and you had the kind of the chubby one, and you're right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bears in the 80s.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I need to make a list of all the cartoons that deserved 3 seasons that didn't get it, that the Ewoks did, from Silverhawks to,
like you said, Thundar and everything else.
Brave Star, Black Star.
Okay, but you give the Care Bears. I know why.
I'm in the minority, I guess.
It's the general appeal. It's all cutesy, and I guess Thundar didn't sell enough stuffed animals, I guess.
I would have bought a Ookla the Mok.
plush animal.
In a heartbeat.
Would have crushed the Care Bear.
Exactly. Throwing the Care Bears.
The Care Bear stare.
Yeah.
We have to bring down, now when you talk to people, I'm going to give you the Care Bear stare.
Care Bears, prepare to stare. All right, are we ready to do some Ewok on Care Bear battle here?
Action there.
All right.
Let's fight it out.
Let's do it.
The Ewoks, of course, have the advantage because now this could be either way, because as we talked about, the Stormtrooper shooting ability isn't that great. But they did take out a battalion of elite soldiers, scout walkers.
Elite's a relative term.
Yeah. I know. With rock sticks and the logs that come together and crush the ATST.
Various traps.
Yes. So they know how to make some weapons, and they know how to funnel you into weapons,
the traps.
I guess. It's a trap.
I do remember that one scene where they're funneling the stormtroopers into their trap, and that one Ewok gets shot, and the other one tries to wake his buddy up, and then he starts crying. And I remember that as a kid, all the other kids would be like, "No!" There was wailing and gnashing of teeth at that scene. I was cheering.
Little Lee Bokma was like, "Yeah,
shoot him!" We're having Ewok jerky for dinner tonight.
It's Ewok jerky tonight. Oh, yes. But then they play the side music in the background when they all die. So.
They only showed that one Ewok dying. That's the only one.
You were disappointed.
Yeah, I was.
But on the con side, I will say that they're not very intelligent. They're not very advanced.
They're not very
Ewoks.
Advanced. They're crafty for their primitive state. Right.
They're crafty, but they're very primitive.
They're very primitive.
They don't have lasers or anything, but they have the potential to.
Yeah.
Because they're very crafty.
They adapt quickly if you give them guns.
Adapt very quickly. I'll admit that they don't radiate love and energy from their chest.
Yeah, obviously I'm not in the business of killing Ewoks with my Care Bear army, but when my Care Bears stare, I'm thinking I'm taking them all out of the fight at a distance, no less.
Yes,
because the Ewoks didn't have a whole lot of ranged weapons beyond like throwing spears, and I think there was a sling or two.
Yeah, I think that's sling. Yep, you're right.
But if I blast you with a rainbow arc of caring, I think your army's just going to evaporate on the field there.
Yeah, but as Kevin J. Anderson alluded to, they're everywhere. Just sheer numbers. So I think it was a war of attrition.
I'd need a Care Bear Death Blossom to get them all.
Yeah. that would be good.
All the Care Bears get like in this giant sphere and start rolling around.
Spin around.
All these Care Bear blasts flying everywhere.
Yes.
Get them all in range. Don't do it till they're all close.
They'll shoot till you hear or see the white of their eyes.
Yeah, they don't have whites of their eyes.
That's true.
They have those soulless black eyes.
I love it. Yeah, you're right. They don't have it.
They'd be too close. By the time I got the Care Bear Death Blossom off, they'd be too close.
It's too late. Can the Care Bears teleport? I don't remember that. Or
no, I don't recall. They had some sort of way to get between Carolot and Earth, but I don't think it was like teleportation at will.
Okay.
They did have a few like other special abilities. They could like summon harp-shaped balloons. They had cloud cars. I think they could make rainbow bridges. And they could use their Care Bear tummy lights as like a signal as well, as in addition to it.
I do remember the bridges. Weapon. Yeah, then they'd kind of slide over like a slide.
So all these weapons suck.
A balloon.
Here, I can hit you with heart-shaped balloons. Run you over with my cloud car, and then you'll just get right back up because it did nothing to you because I ran over you with moisture and dirt.
Oh, that's awesome. I agree. Yeah, I'm going to run you over with my cloud car. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
they would crush the cloud car between the logs.
That's true. They would keep on going. Those logs smash, and the Care Bear car would just keep going. That cloud car.
I can see. The as proven, the Ewoks are pretty vicious. They take all the stormtroopers' helmets, and they don't know what they did to their heads.
They turned them into drums. Oh yeah.
So I can envision a Ewok just squeezing into the Care Bear's fabric and just pulling out
stuffing. Oh yeah.
He's like crawling on the floor trying to get away, and he just takes a knife and just rips off their head or something. So they are pretty vicious.
I'd pay good money to watch this, actually.
Yeah. I have a picture of it. If you see the Ewok's face there, I mean he's
where they're cheering over like the dead stormtroopers,
looking pretty vicious there, and standing on top of the ATST and having spears in hand. But I don't know. But I think the Care Bears lose, but
it all depends on like range and circumstance. I think if they can get that Care Bear stare off and get like all the warm feelings,
take out their leader somehow, and
and then like the Ewoks they don't get try to attack, and like maybe the Care Bears that feel good would turn on their own kind. Care Bear on Ewok on Ewoks fighting each other for the sake of the.
That's true.
So
they are superstitious.
Yeah,
at first.
Yeah, because they totally fall for C-3PO's golden
floating thing.
Oh, speaking of which, there's got to be like a golden Care Bear.
Ooh.
It could totally be a god.
Wow, there is a golden... I think there is a yellow one.
Funshine Bear, probably.
I think it is. I think it's Sunshine Bear.
I'm actually embarrassed by my knowledge of Care Bears now. Thank you, Lee Searcy.
You're welcome. I can never walk in public again.
I already lost my nerd card on the Serenity fight. Yeah. Now I have an exorbitant knowledge of Care Bears.
You're getting deeper in the hole. You're going to take a lot to get out. You're going to have to watch a lot of Thundar and Conan to get out or something.
I need to go draw some barbarians for a couple of months now.
You do. There you go. Conan taking out the Care Bears or the Ewoks.
Yeah.
Destroying an Ewok village.
That'd work too.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just wearing fur cloaks and loincloths made out of Ewok fur.
It has like a quilt made of the Care Bears, their chest things, the shamrock, the sunshine.
There you go.
So, let us know, listener, what do you think? Who would win between Care Bears or Ewoks, or maybe nobody cares?
Maybe there's no winners in this fight.
There's no winners, there's only losers in this
There's only losers in this fight.
But it was fun, so.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Lee. I appreciate it. I'll put a link in the show notes to the Facebook page for you, so definitely
I appreciate
hit Lee up and see if he can draw you Conan destroying Ewoks.
That would be a fun commission. I would love to be commissioned to draw Conan.
You would get moved to the front.
I would, yeah. You go right to the front of the queue.
Yes. Maybe not do it for free, but you get moved to the front of the queue.
There might be a discount. I'm not lying.
Care Bears or Ewoks, which one do you want to see die?
Either. I'm good with either.
All right. Well, thanks, Lee. I appreciate it. We'll have to figure out another topic and have another nerd death match.
Always great on the show. I always love our death matches. So
no
thanks.
Ewoks or Care Bears, though. All right. Thanks.